Hello there everyone, welcome back. Divansh here, and in this video we are going to learn about Retrofit library. So what is Retrofit? Retrofit is basically library, easy to use library through which you can post and retrieve data through APIs in Android. So let's get started. And in this video we are going to simply get some data through an API and learn about the concepts of retrofit, how to use them. So the prerequisites for this video is I added some dependencies which you can have a look over here, and these dependencies link are in the description of this video. You can copy them from there. So for retrofit, we are adding this dependency, and as you know, the API which we are using returns as the JSON object, and we need to convert that JSON object to the Java object. For that, we are using Gson. Okay, so this is the dependency for Gson, and also we'll be using coroutines with retrofit. So for that, we are adding these two dependencies over here. And after that, after adding the dependencies, you need to click on the sync now option over here, which could download some additional files and index those files, and your project is ready to get ready. Ready, you are ready basically with your projects and stuff. So this was the prerequisite, and also I would like to mention one more thing. If you have if you do not have that plugin, you can install. Simply press Ctrl Alt and S to open your settings dialog, and in the plugins option, from there you need to search for JSON, and yeah, this first plugin JSON to Kotlin class. You need to download this. This API will simply make our work a lot more easier to work with data classes. Okay. After installing that, yeah, now you are ready to follow along this tutorial. Yeah, so let's have a look to the API that we'll be using. Okay. So yeah, this is the API that we'll be using for our project. Okay. So here you can have a look at the response that we are getting through the API. So here the till, as you know, if you are not familiar, let me tell you. This is our base URL. Here is still a .io as still the domain name. The base URL is, and the forward slash quotes uh, is our you can say endpoint. Okay. So the response, we are getting two JSON responses from our API. The first one is the this one. Okay, first one is still count to results, and the second one is this one. Okay, so for this we need to create two data classes. Okay, so let's create the first data class for this one. Okay, for this response, as you can have a look over here, that results is an basically an array of this property. Okay, so yeah, we'll be creating data class for this one. Copy this, simply copy this and go to your Android Studio, and in the main package here, click on new, and after installing the plugin, you will get this option Kotlin data class file from JSON, and simply paste it over here. Okay, so yeah, and you need to enter your class name. I'll say this as result, and also remember to wrap these into curly braces, and simply click on generate. This would generate us a data class. Yeah, simply that much easier. Okay, so we have got our first data class, and now we need to create our second data class. Okay, just a second. Yeah, second data class for this one. So we can copy this from here. As we know, the for the results property, it is basically a list of the data class that we already created. So I'll create for this one, I'll enter this manually. So simply copy this from till here, and go to your Android Studio, and here create a new data class and paste it over here. Okay, and enter the name. uh, I'll enter say it as code list, and you can wrap these inside a curly braces. Okay, and yeah, click on generate. This will generate a new data class code list, and as you can see over here, we are having 5 properties, but the response that we are getting through our API, we are getting 6 response, 5, and this one results is the 6th one. So we'll enter this manually results. Okay, so go to your Android and here comma value results, which is a list of results. Okay, I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. List of result is already we defined this result. Okay, this data class is the result. Okay, yeah. So pretty much we are done with our creating data classes. Now we need to then come to the next step, which is creating an interface. So why we are creating this interface? Because like we need to define the endpoints of our API. So you can simply click and go to Kotlin class and file and create a new Kotlin interface. Okay. So name this as let's say code interface. Yeah. Okay. So here like we need to define our endpoint. So as I mentioned, we'll be only like getting data from the API. We'll not be posting data as to make this video quite simple. Okay. So the endpoint is basically backslash quotes for this one. Okay. Sorry, it's a forward slash quotes. So here we can annotate this with at the rate get. Okay. Yeah, at the rate get, and we need to pass the string, which is back forward slash quotes. Okay, and we need to define a suspend function get quotes. We are using suspend functions because like we are using curity, and this would return us the response of type response of type quote list. Okay, yeah, pretty much this only. So as like we are having only one um, request with our API. So like when you will be working on real project, you will have multiple requests, and so you can annotate them or you mention them over here. Like for the post request, you can use at the rate post. For put, similarly, you can use at the rate put. So like yeah, after defining our interface, now the next step is to create a object class. So what that class is going to do is like it will return as the object of the interface, object of the retrofit. So go to new and Kotlin class file and simply select the object and name this as I'll name this as retrofit helper. Yeah. So here like we need to define a base URL, declare a base URL is equals to, so let's copy a base URL from the Chrome. Yeah. This one is our base URL till the domain name. Okay. Copy this and paste it over here. Yeah. So now what we need to do is like we need to declare a function first. This will not be a, uh suspend function. This will be a simple function get instance, and this will inherit from retrofit. Okay, retrofit, and this would return as the object retrofit dot get inst. Okay, retrofit dot builder dot base URL. Okay, just a second. Dot base URL, and we need to pass the base URL over here. Okay, and Then we need to add the converter factory, as like we are getting the response in JSON. We need to convert it to Java object. We'll create a uh, JSON converter factory dot create, and here like we need to pass the here we need to no, we don't need to pass anything. Okay, yeah, and then simply like you can say dot build, pretty much that only. It takes this create property does not take any method any parameters. Okay, so this function is going to return as the object, okay, of the retrofit. Now what the next step is to like link our object class and the interface in a main activity. So this is a main activity. We can rename this main activity to sound more like logical. So simply click on this and go to refactor, rename and name this as code list, code activity, sorry, code activity. And also we need to like rename our layout file. Simply go on this, right click and go to refactor, rename. We can rename this to activity. Yeah, done. Great. So now let's link, go to your code activity file, and yeah, let me like write, remove this over here and write the code again. Yeah, so what we need to do is like we need to create the uh, object of that. So I'll say retrofit helper dot get instance dot uh, create, and I'll like pass the interface over here. So interface is like code interface class dot java. Yeah. So and now we need to launch the now we need to launch the coroutine global scope dot launch, and inside this what I'm going to do is call our get quotes method and store this inside a variable. Okay, what I can say is where result is equals to dps dot get quote, and I can simply like check if my result resut, okay, no problem, I let it be resut, is not equals to null. Then what I can say is I can log this data. So log dot b, and here I can say dps message comma, and I can say result dot body dot to string. Okay, yeah, pretty much that only. So what I have done is like I created the object of the retrofit. Okay, I basically called this get instance, which we declared in our object class. Okay, which which was returning as the object. Okay, so yeah, where is our class? Yeah. So here is our DPS object of the retrofit, and then like inside the coroutines we are like calling the dot codes method, which we declared in our interface, which basically returns as the like response, all the, yeah, API responses. So now let's run our app to see what we are getting. We have added all our codes, and now one small thing which is left is like to add the internet permission. So go to your manifest file and simply add the internet permission over here, else you will get errors and your app might crash. So now I have connected my Android physical device, and now I am running our app on that. Yeah. So my app has successfully launched on my Android device, and now as you can have a look over here in the debug, I am getting some quote list count is equals to 20, last index item equals to 20, which is nothing but our API response. As you can see in our quote activity, we have logged our API response with the tag DPSMSG. Or simply you can go to logcat, and there also like in the filter you can apply the filter by like saying tag, and here you can write DPSMSG or your tag name, and you will simply get the response. So here is API response. So pretty much that only. I hope in this video you have understood how to uh, get a response from the API using retrofit library and some basic concepts of retrofit. So pretty much that only. In the upcoming videos we'll be covering some advanced topic in retrofit. And yeah, if you are new, please consider subscribing, and let's meet in the new video. Bye bye.